Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the lift with yours truly. Auntie Sheila's in the house. Look, we are all connected. This is your essential intel nugget for the week. I'm just so delighted to be connecting and reconnecting with all of you. I'm here. I'm back in the saddle. You guys know this channel, we've got it all: the mental health, the movement, the upliftment, the motivation, and from time to time, we all need, yes, that quintessential relationship advice. So that's here for you as well. If you're loving what I'm doing, please do not forget to subscribe and share the news of the channel with your friends and family. So I want to thank Adrian. Thank you, Adrian. It was my heart's delight to receive your letter, and I'm just going to share it with the world. Adrian is not only a subscriber, but she's someone that I had the privilege of sharing a help journey with. And Adrian, you are the inspiration for today's message: how to let go, and create space for the new and good. So I'm going to dive into this letter, which I truly treasure. I've read it like 3 or 4 times because I'm so thrilled with what you had to share. Here we are. Dear Sheila, 8 years ago, I reached out to you for support through one of the darkest chapters in my life. Were it not for our sessions, I don't think I would ever have called what was happening emotional abuse. I was a desperate woman hanging on to nothing for dear life, trying to turn it into something. Sheila, I wanted to share some photos of my new husband, our home, and new baby boy. It happened just as you said it would. I had to let go and let God. Thank you for never judging me and holding the most painful space of my life with me. I had to release a very toxic relationship to make space for good love. For the first time in my life, I feel like a queen. That's the part that got me. I'm watching your videos all the time, and I hope you will share my letter. People need to understand that letting go is the first step to healing and renewal. Sheila, I let go of everything that is not useful, worn out, or dragging on my soul. I let go of old shoes now, old magazines, misfit relationships. This spring, I even cleared out old branches in my backyard. I let go and let God. I had my rough days and I prayed through it. I still have rough days. I got in with my salt baths and long drives, and then one day I met my husband while running errands. I don't know what the future holds. I take it one day at a time. I can tell you this: God wants to bless everyone and not have us sit in mess. I walked out of the mess, cleaned myself up, and I'll never look back again. Thank you, Miss Sheila. Adrian. No, 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 no. No, Adrian. Thank you. Thank you. I'm blessed by these letters and postcards. I have, over the years, I don't really do one-on-one practice anymore because more than anything, it's the speaking. I'm doing a lot more group work and expanding those areas. But I will tell you, over the years, I'm gratified that I've built the kind of practice where people do stay in touch. And when I receive those notes, it's for a therapist, it's a pure validation. This is why you do the work, because you want people to go forward in their life, and be good and be happy. And you wonder sometimes, how did their story end up? So, Adrian, I'm delighted for you. I anticipated nothing less, nothing less. And Adrian, I'm going to share a story, and I responded to you, let you know that I'm going to be sharing the note. But there's a piece of our work together that one day I can remember things getting so bad that during a session, the only thing that there were no words. It was literally just silence and holding the space, because it was just such a difficult time for you. And that sticks out as a memory of the the trauma and drama of abusive relationships, hard times, what have you. Check all the boxes. It can literally render you speechless. And that was just a day that both of us were literally just holding the space. That was the session, like holding the space of silence inside of a lot of pain. So I'm again thrilled and over the moon that you just went forward and had the courage to release. And literally, what I want to talk about today is exactly the journey that Adrian took. It's a journey that I've taken in my life, and it's a journey at various times. We don't know when we're going to be called to experience this journey, if you will, of release. And what I can say to you is what I've said in so many of these programs, these video programs. The Lord that I know and serve is not the author of confusion. And when things get sticky and hard and hurtful, you've heard me say I am an advocate for relationships. I love working through things. I love when we roll up our sleeves and get on the same page. That's not what I'm referring to here. When that's happening and there's a righteous energy coming from all directions, both directions, that's a different story. A lot of times communication can get better. Things can get worked out, mutual understanding, getting needs met. I'm talking about the kind of old energy, worn out energy that is not useful for our lives. And when we insist, after being given clue and hint, nudge after nudge, this is not helpful, this is not useful, this is not going to be good fruit for us moving forward. And we position ourselves as what I'll call the hooks, and kind of I'm going to cling on to this. As Adrian said, I was holding on to nothing, trying to turn it into something. So that message is for anyone who's listening today. It may not be a relationship, you see. It could be a job. It could be a career move you need to make. It could be an outdated way of living and thinking and being. Sheila, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. I want a change. I want a change. So this channel is distinctive and interesting, and really not like many of the other channels, in that not only do I focus on solutions, very specific things for you to do, but I come at this from the spiritual, from the clinical. You all know I've spent many years preparing for all of you. This is my life's work. A mental health educator. It's what I do. It's my full heart's delight and gratification to know that you will hear the information and put it to use, and it does something for your life. So having said that, I want to be very specific with my recommendations here today, because one of the things that can happen when we're just not acclimated, or we don't have that kind of natural, inclinations in our personality to newness, to the adventure of it. We need to do things to build muscle memory around newness, pursuing that, releasing that which does not serve us any longer. So I will, in the end cap, I'll place a video. It's called Goodfellas, Check Your Loyalty. And in that video, I talk about my deep, deep journey into healing, mental health. My personal healing came really through noticing this old couch that was in my living room one day. I don't know why. I, many years ago walked into my apartment on this particular day. I hadn't thought much about this couch, and I looked and I'm like, this thing is so, it's tattered, it's worn. And the fascinating thing about it in this moment, I guess God just deals with us creatively as he so desires. Right next to that in my mind was, what is wrong with you? You have enough money. You could have bought 5 or 6 of these couches by now. What's the problem? And it just cut through me, the fact that I had this narrative running. This is your couch, like, you have to keep it. I hadn't even entertained going to the furniture store, getting something fresh, new, and better, because my mindset was, just, this is how it is. Accept it. Take what you have. And it had been that way for years and years growing up, a product of my environment. Like, take what you can get, deal with it. And so that was really the moment that led me into therapy. I started writing and just really looking at, wow, all these elements that go into not just creating a life, but how do we become stagnant? How do we become so accepting of things that are not good for us, that are not reflective of the growth perhaps that we've experienced in other levels? Or if we haven't experienced growth, even just being complacent enough to know that deep within ourselves and not reach for more. So I share that story to illustrate a point. You could certainly be indoctrinated, if you will, in just a personality type that is prone to kind of go with it. I'm not going to ask too many questions. I don't want to rock the boat. When you think about why we resist coming into the newness, why we resist taking what I call really healthy risk for ourselves, it has to do with 3 things. Number 1, it's fear. I'm just flat out afraid of what may be on the other side. Secondly, what I just shared with you, touched on, it's habituation. We just don't have the muscle memory. Going after that newness can be very intimidating. And then the third piece, let me get some water here. That third little edge is lack of information. We would do it, we would make a move, we would possibly get out of the relationship, pursue the new opportunity, if we had enough information where we felt confident enough. You don't even need to be confident 100%, but confident enough to kind of lift us out of that groove, if you will, on the couch of our life. We all know you can sit on a couch so long and there's just this comfortable indentation there. It may not be attractive. Perhaps we don't like it, but it's very comfortable. So I want to share some specific information on how you can start to build more muscle memory and start laying the framework and getting inside of this. Excuse me, guys. I've been sick, getting over illness here. We can start building the framework as an invitation, to bring in the new, to bring in the robust, to bring in the good. That's an energetic vibe. It's a vibe, everyone. You can read all the books you want. You can hope and wish all you want. But I'm talking about how to set the conditions in your mind, body, and spirit to attract the newness, to stop being afraid of what it is, and to get into this robust piece of sparkling joy that we call life. So, a couple things. I want you each day, if you find yourself, Sheila, I need to release something in my life, but I'm hesitating. I've known it for a while. Muscle memory, okay? It doesn't matter if it's a relationship, career, whatever the case may be. I want you to start to do 3 things every day, okay? I want you to learn something new. Just a nugget, okay? Like literally, I have a practice. I'm on Google. I have to learn a new pearl of wisdom every day. And some of what's in my head, it's like, when are you ever going to call on that nugget of wisdom? Perhaps I never will. Like the video I did about harp seals and how they eat their young. That's how I get that title, Harp Seal Mamas. I'm never going to write an essay on this topic, but it's part of a practice of learning something new, because that information helps you move existing information around in your brain. By every golden nugget you learn, you have it in that moment, you've just reinvented yourself. Wow, this is something I didn't have 5 minutes ago, and I acquired it. I love listening to children. I learned so much from my daughter, from her little friends, just these little tidbits, these little characters, things you can find in books to enhance your life. One of my favorite things to do is to not only read up on new recipes and different things that I can do with food. It's actually creating those masterpieces. Wonderful to get lost in. It's part of learning. Secondly, I want you to every day out of your mouth, I want you to say something new. So we're going to learn something new, say something new. That's something, maybe it's a word that you've learned, maybe it's a new affirmation. But we're flexing that muscle of newness. And then last but not least, every day, every single day, if you can't cut it every single day, at least every week, I want you to get into the habit of doing something new. Surprise yourself. Could be a kind gesture for someone. I mean, if you do a kind gesture every single day, the gesture itself could be on with the same person, but it's new. You do something new. A compliment. What that's doing is creating an elasticity in your spirit, in your heart, in your soul. It's creating that wonderful energetic stage. This newness feels pretty good. This is, my version. It's a little bit of an adventure for my spirit. So what that does is give you the lift, and it's a powerful reminder. I have options. I don't have to feel downtrodden and hurt and stuck in this relationship. You know, in my work with Adrian, one of the things that we would do is vision. We didn't go off 10, 15 years, but even sitting down to vision for the freshness of the next day and vision for the freshness of the next week. That spirit, again, of renewal. It's powerful when you allow it to wash over you on a consistent basis. You heard her say, oh, I got into my salt baths. I tell so many people that I work with the power of daily renewing rituals. I just wrapped up a salt bath. It's renewing. We need that in this lifetime to really make sure that we're flushing off all, that energy that is not useful. We're constantly bringing forth that radiance, from the inside out. And a lot of people, going back to, this fear factor, a lot of people will say to me, Sheila, I want to make a move, but I don't know if I'm going to get my happy ending. And I'm telling you, if that's how you're going to sit and contemplate it before you move on, okay, I'll play that game too. All right, you don't know if you're going to get your happy ending, but you damn sure know you're going to get your hellish ending if you stay in this stuff. What I like to do is go 5 steps ahead. In any situation that you're in that is not supporting you, that is not nurturing you, that has really an established pattern of toxicity, all you need to do is go 5 more steps, go 5 more years, and imagine where you're going to be at that point. It was that specific exercise. I've told you about a very toxic relationship that I had to exit many years ago. And I can remember I came home one day, I'm sitting on my front porch, and it was so clear to me. I asked myself a question, and I want you to start asking yourself questions too. Sheila, knowing what you know now, clearly, about who you are, about this relationship dynamic, where do you realistically, be honest with yourself, where do you realistically think you're going to be in 5 to 10 years if you keep going down this path with this individual? And you know what? God is very merciful and will certainly, I think there's prayers that the Lord receives, and he's like, woo, thunderbolt, let me send them something immediately. And within a flash, I don't even think it was a millisecond. What's less than a millisecond? I don't know. But it came really quick. I saw myself in this kitchen, so sad. I was sweeping. I looked like hell. And it was just, I don't know what the scene, like, exactly where it was, but it was directly tied to that question: where are you going to be in 5 to 10 years? And I don't know, maybe I was in the kitchen that I shared with this man, and just, I don't know, contemplating God knows what, but it was a dark, sad scene. And I knew in my heart of hearts, you got to make a move, girlfriend. You got to make a move. And I did. It was a bold move, and it was a scary time of life, but I will tell you, there's never been a day, not a day since I said, I can do better than this, that I haven't thanked God. Some days I just go through the day in utter prayer and praise and gratitude for pulling me out of that mess. Pulling me out of that mess. And I can say it, and I am going to say it until I'm blue in the face, that the life conditions, there's places in this world, and we know, war torn, there's things going on. There's people living in areas of the world where, just because of where they are geographically, they don't have the kind of breadth and depth of choices that other people have. I'm telling you, where you have options, that is God's grace and blessing. Use them. Use your options in your relationship. Use your options in your home. Use your options in your relationships, options in how you communicate. And in as much as you can, make those options, make them elevate. Elevated choices, elevated options will elevate your life. Complications, cruelty in relationships, degradation. This is not a part of the plan that the Lord has for you. It may be part of someone else's plan who wants to see you run over in a ditch. But I'm here to tell you that life is always going to reward movement, one way or another, one foot in front of the other. Life is going to reward your decision, your choice, and movement. You hear me? One way or another. May go to the left, may go to the right, get little twists and turns there. But when you make the declaration, okay, H to the no, H to the no, I'm going to have a life of dignity. I want to have a fresh life. It may not be easy every day, but it's going to be fresh. Things of this nature, respect, decency, you are going to receive. You will. There are rewards for that. I promise you, my friend. So, to bring everything full circle, the newness, the freshness, start working that muscle. And you may just say, Sheila, I'm going to do these 3 things every day. Trust me, if you start getting into this newness practice, it's going to check a lot of other boxes in your life. Sometimes you can't tackle the main thing head on. You got to do other things to build up to it. Well, this is that other thing. So I just want you to go into it, give everything a try. I'm going to be back very soon with some more uplifting and amazing content for you guys. Be sure to check out my Tools Not Talk accountability program. I'm forming new circles as we speak. So I will be back soon. Don't forget to share the news of the channel with your friends and family. See you shortly. Bye-bye.